Hey folks, welcome to Aztec. We're in Planet Coaster today, and at the moment we're actually going to be putting together a new building near the entrance. Now, this building, it's kind of placed there because I wasn't sure what to do in the space that we had. So you first come into the entrance of the park, and you are basically given three options, three different paths to take, and essentially the bit of path that you can see there on the right hand side, that will be the main entrance, or the main I don't know, kind of path into the centre of the park. Really, there's going to be a lot of different paths that go around to different areas, but that essentially is going to be the main path. So I had this kind of this space right here, and it's kind of a bit of a weird space because it's between the park and the accommodation. So I wasn't really sure what to do with it, and it was kind of I don't know. I didn't want to put any rides there because if you're in the accommodation, you're not really going to want to have a ride slap bang right next to it. The fairground is differently the other side of the accommodation, but it's just kind of dead space, I suppose, and I didn't really just want to fill it with trees, and I kind of felt like it needed to have another building there. So we're actually putting together what is going to be known as a restaurant. I suppose it's lightly themed. I mean, it does have some theming, but it's fairly light, to be honest. And it's going to be known as Captain Lockjaws Boathouse Restraurant. So I was kind of toying with different ideas, and I kind of thought that a restaurant would be a pretty good idea. And also, it's kind of a weird shape as well. So is trying to find a building that would fit there, and not look too out of place, I think was a bit of a challenge, to be honest. But we did get there in the end. Now, the inspiration for this really was just kind of whatever was in my head at the time, which might seem a bit strange, but that's really kind of what whatever was going in my head at the time. And I kind of wanted, I like the idea. Originally, it was going to be like a seafood restaurant. And I thought, well, I don't really want to limit myself to, to that as such. But I don't know. I just felt like because of the water that we had there, I wanted to get some water into the park quite early on, just to give it, sort of break up the landscape a little bit. And I always wanted a nice big lake towards the middle of the park, roughly. So I thought we'll start out with some water just here. We do actually go ahead and make it a little bit bigger as well. And I thought it'd be really nice to have kind of like a wharf area as you go into the park. You kind of go through the wharf and into the rest of the park. I haven't quite decided what we're going to do in the middle of the middle of the park, so to speak. So ideas. Send me your ideas if you've got any. But this whole sort of building was kind of like I sort of had in mind, fishermen's. Fisherman's wharf, kind of like, what I mean. Here in the UK, you have things like fish and chips, a lot. That's quite famous. But I kind of wanted something that would kind of speak, see old, salty sea dogs and all that kind of stuff. But I wanted it to fit in with the theme of the park. I mean, this is a family-friendly park, so I kind of want it to be inviting, sort of welcoming, quite warm and friendly, so it's suitable for kids and adults, and they can go there, have some fish and chips, have a meal, and enjoy the lake as well. So I kind of really wanted to give this building a little bit of character as well. It's not just going to be another theme park building. It really needed to feel like a good quality family friendly restaurant, and I think we managed to achieve that in the end. It was tricky. There were certain parts of this build that posed certain challenges. The roof being one of them, and you'll see that shortly. But there's actually two buildings to this building, two actual separate buildings as far as Planet Coaster was concerned, which I've seen a lot of people do. A lot of other content creators will do the same thing, and it's kind of how you get these funny little shapes. So it was definitely a challenge. It's actually quite a big building as well. if you look at sort of top down view, you'll actually notice it's quite a size. It's a funny shape, it's a funny size, and that's what sort of gave me the sort of funny sort of pose some problems, so to speak. But I think we make it look really nice. We made it out of wood. I went for the I think this is the wood batten. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember, but it's I really like this wooden texture. It goes well with a lot of different stuff. It really has that kind of rustic feel to it. And that's kind of the thing I was going for. Now, one of the things that I really wanted for this restaurant was to actually have some outside areas. And the reason for that is just purely because the lake's there, to be honest. And I thought it would just look really nice if you could, go and grab yourself a burger and, fish and chips, and go and sit out by the lake. I thought that would be a really, really nice idea. So that's kind of, when we started this build, I really kind of wanted it to be like that, so that we'd have a nice little seating area. And eventually the lake, like I said, the lake will get bigger as well. Now, you'll see me putting in some interior walls here, and originally, because of these really large windows, again the windows were there just for for people to see out of, because a lot of restaurants the windows are quite small, so I really wanted these big kind of open windows, for people to be able to look out onto the lake with. But I was originally going to do an interior to this building. I still haven't discounted that at the moment, but we haven't put one in this video. So if you've got any ideas about any interiors, or you'd like to see one, let me know in the comments, and I'll see what I can do. I mean, doing interiors in Planet Coaster is pretty tricky as it is, so I'd like to give it a go. Certainly be a challenge, but I haven't done one purely just for time purposes, really. And also, if you'll see it later on in the video, the roof looks an absolute mess inside. So it doesn't look that fantastic, the roof, and you'll see why in a little while. We're just putting this decking up at the moment. Something I want to talk to you guys about as well is that as of yesterday, we actually had a new DLC go up on the Steam Workshop. It's not named yet. We don't know what it is. We don't have any details apart from the fact that we know one is coming. We don't know dates or times or literally nothing at all. We just know that there's a DLC that's inbound at some point, which is exciting stuff, because it's been 3 months since the studio pack was released, and we are definitely overdue a DLC. So I don't know what this one's going to be, if I'm honest. I really actually don't have many ideas about what it could be. Maybe something like I say a summer pack, but not really. I don't know. I mean, could it be like a water pack, perhaps? I don't know. I mean, we've not had any sort of summary type packs released yet. It's always been sort of fairly well themed content packs, but I don't know. I would like to see some like a summer DLC pack. I mean, we could have things like swimming pools, or even if they're not functional, we could have extra pieces in the game that would like deck chairs and different umbrellas, more benches. I mean, things for content creators such as myself, we always love our bins, benches and fences, so so see some extra stuff like that would be really good. I don't know. I mean, maybe they'll definitely put in a couple of rides. I should imagine they always do. Most likely they'll pop in maybe a new theme. I don't know. I mean, what would you guys like to see? I mean, personally, it would be really nice to see some sort of summer pack. I think that'd be really good. But have you got any thoughts? Do you think that have you got anything in mind that you'd like to see? Do you know what the pack might be? We could have a little poll. Let us know in the comments. What do you think it might be? But I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. So you can see me messing about with the path and the terrain here for about, in real time, it's probably about 10 minutes or so. I don't know what it is with Planet Coaster. There still are restrictions on paths and terrain. either it'll snap to the terrain, it'll do like a really funny angle, or it won't let you place it. What I really wanted to do is get a path all the way down here so I can put some benches, some actual benches there. So if the guests wanted to, and we had some sort of interior, then they could go out and they could sit outside by the lake and it would look really good. But I was having a really hard time with this. I don't really know why. I think it was because for things like paths and stuff, it really wants a flat terrain, but for some reason it really wanted me to have that terrain all the way out to the edge there, which is why I've done raise the terrain very slightly, and it was really kind of annoying because it was it wouldn't let me place it, and I thought I'd place it on the grid because it would look better, and you see me here now trying to get the angle just right. For some reason there's a pause here. I might have gone away to make a cup of tea or something. I was trying to just raise and lower the platform here on the building because it was just at a really funny angle. I wanted to get just below the path, but enough to be able to cover the path on the other side, which is quite tricky. I spent ages doing that. For some reason it was not playing ball. And there we go. We get it just about right in the end. There are some showing here. I'm not quite sure why it does that. It's annoying, but there's not much we can do about it. So I decided to go for these pirate benches because I think they look absolutely fantastic. They have done a very good job, Frontier, with the benches in this game. So I really wanted to use those pirate benches. Now we're just kind of decorating the front facade a little bit. We're just putting some details around. This video is a little bit choppy, so apologies if I kind of go off and do lots of different things. Sometimes I have an idea in my head, I just have to go and try it out, try and do it, which is sometimes why I'm a little bit all over the place. So what we're doing now is we're actually putting some glass into the windows there. I didn't really want to keep them open. We've got the glass, so I wanted to use it, but at the moment the default, I don't know why this is, but Planet Coaster, if you look at things like that are transparent, such as glass, if you change the colour to black, that's basically completely see-through. Now, when you create images and stuff like that in Photoshop, and you create, if you do anything with transparency, generally speaking, black is see-through and white is like a fill colour, so it's 100% opacity. So I left them clear for now, with the understanding that I was actually going to do an interior. And then I was really trying to get a bit of path inside here and realised it was really, really, really hard, and it was changing all the windows to white. So you can't see inside the interiors as easily as you could before. So there you go, they're all white now, so they look a bit more like windows, but we might go back and change those. What am I doing now? Am I starting? Yeah, I'm starting the roof now. So this roof gave me so much trouble, you will not believe. It took me probably a couple of hours to get this all looking nice, and not all the footage is here, I don't think, either. I changed my plan and ideas a number of different times, and what I didn't want to do with this building is I didn't want to make it too high, because really I wanted this to be like a long flat building. I didn't want it to be really tall, because it would just overpower everything else, because this is right at the entrance. It needs to be fairly low so that you can see the rest of the park. So my idea was to kind of make it basically just a flat roof almost, just a little bit of a slope, just to give it that give it a roof style. But I didn't really want to go too much into it. But we actually we do something quite interesting in just a minute. So at this stage, it kind of looked like a bit of a boring flat roof, and it didn't really have much character. It needed something else to kind of make it pop, and I actually decided in the end to put in a little building, just like a little, I suppose you could call it a clock tower, I guess. I mean, it's just purely there for show. There's nothing there for sort of functional purposes, but you know, you'll see in just a moment. I think. Well, actually, we could. I'm sitting here trying to figure out the roof. Actually, and I decided to put just sort of kind of slope it up to an angle just here. I look at that and I think, oh, actually, yeah, that looks alright. So we do that instead. It is a bit of an odd shape. I don't know, if this building exists in real life. I very much doubt it would look like this. They would definitely have, another way of doing it. But I think the idea of this as well is that at some point this restaurant was probably extended to cope with the capacity as the park grew. So most likely there's probably been the original building, I would think, would probably be the smaller hut there, next to the main path, and it was just expanded and changed, and eventually, it looked like this, a bit of a jumbled mess, to be honest with you. So I'm just kind of looking around and trying to get all the angles right. This corner, the piece I'm now placing, was an absolute nightmare. I don't know quite why it turned out that way, but it did. We have got to go back and take a look at it. But as you can see, I'm just popping in this little clock tower. It was just to give it a bit more height and a bit more variation. So all we do is we literally just place a couple of roofs on it, and then basically just decorate it up and make it look nice. But we do something quite interesting on the roof. So hopefully it'll look okay. Yeah, as you can see. Do you know, I wish the square angled roof piece that we've got there in the game, I really wish there was a half wide version of it, like a 2 meter version, so we could create the slightly smaller roofs. It's just that one piece that's missing. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but yeah, there's just one piece missing there, and I think the roofs could probably do with a bit of another pass. So I would say. I would like to see that actually, because I really think that would help. But yeah, I just had to do what I could with this roof, I believe we chop in a second as well. This video is kind of made up of a lot of slightly smaller videos, because I had different times of being able to record and stuff. So you'll probably see a little bit of some bits and bobs alter and change, but that's purely just because I've chopped the video a little bit. So yeah, the next this building, once this bit's done, you'll see it over there by the hooker duck that we made. That bit of grass there, I really don't know what to do with it. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll notice that I actually put a post up asking for feedback and stuff, and we had a couple of people recommend some like a woodland coffee or gift shop, maybe some fishing huts, that kind of stuff. Well, actually, we are going to do that, just not there, because we can do it on the other side of the lake, where we've got the camping site. So if you want to see the camping site being made, there's another video of that as well. But yeah, I didn't feel like that's the right place for that, but that is a really good idea. So thanks to the person that suggested that, but we are going to do that on the other side of the lake. And as I say, we do make the lake a bit bigger as well. And I was toying with the idea of actually moving the lake and sort of wrapping it round as well, and then having like a nice bridge over it somewhere. But of course we've got to fit in the actual wharf as well. This is just kind of like the other building at the other end of the lake, really. So and then we've got that sort of boulevard that goes down which is the main street, but it goes past that nice nice lake. So I thought that'd be really, really good. At the moment, at this point, I hadn't thought of the name for the restaurant, so I knew I wanted to kind of be like a pirate kind of seafood restaurant type deal, but I didn't have a name for it. So I'm just sort of sat here placing a few items just to kind of bring it to life a little bit, because once I see something come to life, the inspiration just starts to flow. So often when you've got a building with a big grey box or just a box with a roof on it, it's kind of uninspiring. So you kind of have to dig deep in your inspiration and think, well, actually, I want to put that there, that might look quite good. Now the idea of this park overall is, as I say, it's a family park. It's very similar to Alton Towers. If you live in the UK, you'll know what Alton Towers is, where that is, and what it's like. If you're not, essentially it's a little bit like a family orientated park, with a moderate budget. It's nothing like Disney, nothing like Six Flags or anything like that, but it's definitely got a little bit of budget to be able to do some moderate theming, nothing too heavy, and this building very much is sort of understanding of that. So they would have wanted to kind of make this give it a little theme. I guess it's kind of like if you live in the UK and I say to you this is like a nice pub restaurant, you'll know exactly what I mean. And a pub restaurant is basically just like a nice restaurant, but it's got kind of that cottage or homely feel to it, and I really wanted to bring that across. So we've got these really nice lanterns and lighting and stuff. And one of my big things in Planet Coaster, and I think a lot of things that a lot of people miss, if you see this at night time, my park is full of lights, and I mean absolutely full of lights. I spend just as much time in night time as I do daytime, because this game is just so pretty. It is just so nice. The lighting system in this game is just insane, and I really like to just watch a park come to life when you flick the switch to daytime. To nighttime. So I really just wanted to stick in a couple of lights there. I think the next thing we do is just I'm trying to find a bit of trim here to put on this wood, because a lot of the time it's just like a dead end that stops, so you have to kind of I didn't want to, as I say, I didn't want to be just a box. I wanted to have a little bit of character to it, which is why we put these raised doors in, why we've done the extra the little clock tower and really kind of funky roof. It was just about kind of giving this building a lot of character and stuff. And I really think that was something I really tried to do. Just have a drink. I think this building works. I think it does. In a minute, we actually put out some a little bit of a scene on the roof, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. Excuse me. Because it's Captain Lockjaw, we actually put up some barrels and a mast and stuff like that, just to kind of fit it in and make it look really, really good. So I'll tell you what, putting these lights in is a chore. It took me a good while. I don't know if you've ever done these. All these pieces are very separate. All these the lanterns and those brackets, and you can see how nice that looks in the night time. Actually, I go back and I look at these windows, and they were like it for quite a while before I decided to change these. But I realised that actually the floor, they were almost full height windows, and I thought if you've got tables inside, so you don't want people to be looking at your feet. So we actually put up some change the height of the windows, and then I decided that really this whole section outside, you can see the grass poking through there. So I really wanted to kind of box that in a little bit and give it a bit more character. So what we do is we put in these really long wooden beams along the bottom there. What am I doing here? Oh, okay, yeah. So a lot of the times in Planet, I mean, I'm still a relatively new sort of builder in Planet Coaster, and I'm really trying my best to get in a lot of detail as possible. I'm not a very good builder when it comes to Planet Coaster, but I do give it a go, and I felt like these windows really they were just kind of like holes in the wall with a bit of glass shoved in it, and I know that's what window is effectively, but I wanted to give it some frames and I wanted to make it look nice. So we actually go and put these window sills in, and I think they look really good. So they are part of the same set as the walls, the same building set. So I think they're actually roof ledges, but they work really, really well, and they lend themselves to being our window sills. So I think they're really, really good. I did actually think that the larger window almost looks like a serving hatch, which is possibly a good idea. We could have a little serving hatch outside, where you go, rather than going, if you're eating outside, you can go and get some lighter, smaller meals like a burger and chips or a hot dog or something like that. Your ice creams and drinks from a little serving hatch. So that's an idea that I've just come up with, so I might do that one. I may end up writing that down actually. and we could put a little shop there perhaps with selling some chief beef burgers or something like that. Yeah, here you go. Here's a beam that I decided to put in, just kind of because we had to take. I decided to take out the wooden grid that came in that we had originally that we put down, and that's just because the path is showing through it. Because those pieces were locked to a grid, you can't adjust the height of those unless you have a separate building, which I didn't really want to do. So we have just put in these little beams, and now it's just showing the path, because the path texture, the wood one, kind of fits in quite well, so I just thought I'd leave it. So we did. So just finishing off the rest of the frames now, and then I believe we go and do the scene on the roof, actually, I think. What I was thinking was, because this building is so close to the accommodation, and because the accommodation is a 2 or even 3-story building, I thought a lot of people are going to be able to look out their windows and see this great big restaurant, and they're just going to see a really crappy roof. So I thought, well, actually, why don't we just just knock on the mic there. Why don't we actually create a little bit of a scene that you can see from other buildings around the area, and also from the ground as well, because it's not a very tall building, effectively. It's actually quite a short building. So we do put a little scene up there. A few more benches around here. A little door on the back side there, just for staff entrances, where they come and take the rubbish out and go for a smoke and all that kind of stuff. And we do actually put up a little shelter for them, because we like to take care of our staff here in Aztec, otherwise we wouldn't have any staff. Besides the fact that I deleted the staff room the other day, they don't need that. They can just work and walk around the park aimlessly without nothing to do. So after this building, guys, we are going to be making progress on, sort of around the lake. I really wanted to fill in that kind of that bit of plain grass that's over on the other side of this building, and I really don't know what to do with it. I'm going back to it. I'm sitting here thinking now, what do we do with it? I have no idea. I did try and put a building together, like a what was it? I can't remember what it was now. Like a boat builders, I think it was. The kind of buildings you see on wharfs, like fishermen's wharfs and that kind of stuff. But I don't know. It just didn't seem to sort of work right. Maybe it was me. Maybe I was tired. I don't know. But I just don't know what to do with it. I've got an idea for the other side, which is directly opposite this building that we're making now, on the other side of the lake. As I say, we have made it bigger, but we're going to have to put above a big bunch of buildings. I'd like to get some boats on there as well. I did toy with the idea of putting the boat transport ride on there, but to be honest, I wasn't sure what to do with that, because it lends itself more to a jungle theme, which I would like to have in this game. We are most likely going to have some sort of Jurassic jungle type area. I don't know what the situation would be with dinosaurs and stuff. Maybe we'll get a dinosaur DLC, actually, thinking about it. If you haven't watched the Jurassic World Evolution videos on the channel, I suggest you can watch them, because they are Jurassic World Evolution is a fabulous game. It might well be some sort of Jurassic dinosaur DLC. What do you think? Do you think that's an option? It might be. I don't know. I tell you what, a DLC I would like to see, one that comes with a lot more animals and animatronics, maybe like a safari type DLC. That would be really nice if we had like a safari pack with lots of different animals like elephants and tigers, and then also a lot of building pack that's it's maybe like an Africa feel or something, lots of bright colours and stripes and that kind of thing. We could create I suppose almost like an Africa kind of retreat, maybe. I don't know, that'd be good. That would certainly tie in with the jungle pack as well, with the adventure pack. But yeah, that would be quite good to see. So I'm just placing some signs now and one of the biggest bugbearers in Planet Coaster for me is the signs. We have a large amount of signs, but none that actually lend themselves to being, I suppose, somewhat realistic. There's a lot of massive signs and there's a lot of smaller signs, but there aren't very many sort of medium size that you can use. So I decided to use two of these. I think all three of these actually, four of these signs, were Western pieces. You saw me sort of try out a lot of, bigger signs and stuff like that, but nothing really worked, to be honest. So we decided to go for those little signs there. And we're going to light those up in just a moment. So we're just placing some extra bits and bobs now, just to give it a little bit less of a boxy feel. Oh yeah, this pipe, that used to be black. Can anyone tell me why it's white? It looks like it's missing its texture. I did notice a few other items in game that do that as well. I don't know if anyone else has come across those. But yeah, I had noticed they were missing a little bit. These plaque things are fabulous. I really like those. There's an octopus, and I think it was a Captain Lockjaw one, I believe. They are really, really good. I'd like to see some more of those. I don't really feel like the pirate theme is quite finished yet. I mean, we see there's a lot of pirate related objects, but there's certain things that are missing. I doubt very much we'll get any more pirate content anytime soon. So at the moment, as part of my my lighting pass, I am going in and oh no, we do the lights in a second. No, sorry, we're going to the roof instead. Yes. I really want to get this Captain Lockjaw statue somewhere, but he is huge. I'd love to see it if it was like half the size. Maybe coloured version of him. I don't know. It seems absolutely massive. So in the end, we go back and delete it because it's just far too big. Little board there as a little menu, and I really want to get some of these little pirate animatronics up there. I may well turn the animatronics off. They're not off, but the game's just paused because frames are a little bit much at the moment. But we may go back and change those to be static. They wouldn't really have animatronics on a roof like this. They would literally just be sort of static objects. And then we're just literally just closing this all off, sort of finishing it off fence wise, and we go ahead and add some more lights to this. I didn't want to put too much on the roof because it would be they're not going to spend very much on it. Tell the truth, I mean, it is just a restaurant, it's not a ride or anything. I think this boat is fantastic. I love using this boat. I really kind of wanted a little bit of a set piece, and I thought this would work really, really well. Kind of draw people into the restaurant from the main street if you're coming back from the other way. So if you come in the entrance and you go left past the mine train roller coaster, and you go that way around and into the park. Excuse me, you wouldn't go past this this restaurant. So you would come back through this way. Just to sort of entice people to come in, and also at night time. We have to make this light the scene up a little bit with some lights, and these I think they're storm lanterns or something like that. These are fabulous. I love those. They give off a really nice glow. One of my favourite lights indeed there. Oh yeah, so here we go. We're now putting in the lights. I wasn't quite sure what to do with the lights for this, primarily because it was just something I wanted to light it up because it was too dark, but I still wanted it to sort of keep in theme with the whole theme of the building. I didn't really see it sort of right putting up big lanterns or anything like that, so I thought these little lights would look quite nicely. 5 of those, they just light up the signs really, really well. So we just end up putting a couple of planks there just to kind of raise the sign a little bit and make it look like it's supposed to be there. So yeah, I don't know what's the last thing we do here. I'm not 100% sure. I know we put a light on the bottom. Yes, we're doing this bit. Okay, so this bit was because I couldn't get the terrain to go any closer to the path, which is frustrating to say the least. I could get it to go underneath, but to be honest, it really wasn't worth it. And I thought we needed a little bit of little bit of foliage, and just kind of make it feel homely. You know, when you're sitting outside and you're having, you know, bite to eat, and you've got these nice plants, bushes and stuff. I just thought it would look really nice. Just finish it all off, and as you're walking past down from the wharf, or you're looking across from the wharf, which is going to be on the other side, you're going to see this. It's going to look really inviting, really nice, and you're going to want to go and have a bite to eat and a drink. So yeah, we're just putting in. I would like to see some more flowers, actually, to be honest with you. We've got a couple, but we really could do some more flowery type things, some more flowers, some more sort of smaller bushes. I'm actually putting up some trees to try and get some variety, because the foliage in this game, as beautiful as it is, there are far more trees than there are sort of bushes and that kind of thing. So it would be really nice to see some extra plants, some extra flowers, some extra bushes. Just kind of, you know, I don't feel like they've really fully fledged out the pack of bushes and stuff. There's what, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 different styles and sizes of the standard green bush, but they are huge. They are massive. I mean, there's only one that's sort of a medium size, really, that we can actually use here. So I really would like to see some more bushes and stuff. I really like the red one, the red bush that we do end up using. I really do like that. I think that's absolutely great. Anyway, this is the end of this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. This building is it's been a challenge, but I really hope you enjoyed watching me put it all together. Please do like the video if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe for more Planet Coaster videos, as well as other games too. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I will see you in the next one.